A very good morning to the Dr. Donzana and Feroz fans. We are from the MGM3352 Business Law Group 13. My name is Ganzing. My metric number is 2025511. Today we will talk about the songs and the music's copyright in Malaysia. The issue is the copyright between the Syekh Abdullah Amans and the Universal Music Sendirian Berhad. The Prentice was a singer Syekh Abdullah Amans. He has been active in the entertainment industry since the 1980s. He was given the stage name Dato' Syekh. The defendant was a company incorporated in Malaysia and was involved in the recordings business Universal Music Sendirian Berhad. Then there are other parties involved are the Nawa Production Sendirian Berhad Music Parties, Malaysia's Recordings Corporate Sendirian Berhad, and Nawa Publishing House Sendirian Berhad.
My name is Tan Jingjing. My metric number is 2025504. Now, I will talk about the face of the case. In 1983, the plaintiff entered into a contractual relationship with a recording company, Malaysia Recording Corporation Sendirian Berhad, and the 1983 contract to produce an album called Bungaku. In 2005 sales and purchase agreement, the defendants, Nawa Publishing House Sendirian Berhad, Nawa Production Sendirian Berhad, Music Factory, entered into sales and purchase agreements, while the Nawa Production Sendirian Berhad were on the copyright of the said albums. However, the Nawa Production signs the rights in the albums to Music Factory on a 60% and 40% ownership. Then, the defendants, Universal Music Sendirian Berhad, is to pay 40% of the net profits to Nawa Production Sendirian Berhad. In 2008, Novations Agreements is between Nawa Production Sendirian Berhad, Nawa Publishing House Sendirian Berhad, Music Factory, and the defendants. On 22 December 2008, the payments made by Music Factory to Nawa Productions include the liability to pay the royalty on the sales of the albums, and the royalty payments for the artists were made directly to Nawa Production Sendirian Berhad. In addition, the defendant has taken over the rights and obligations of Music Factory to Nawa Production Sendirian Berhad and Nawa Publishing House Sendirian Berhad in the 2005 agreements. Therefore, the defendant has stepped into the shoes of Music Factory Sendirian Berhad. The plaintiff, in his evidence, said that he has no knowledge of the 2005 agreements or the 2008 Novations Agreements. Around January 2005, the plaintiff was informed that some of his songs from the albums could be downloaded from the iTunes, which had been outlawed by the defendants. He found out that the albums can be downloaded from the iTunes at the price of USD 4.99.
I need to claim for the 20% royalty from the sale of 100,000 unique albums that are sold in the market since 1983, whether in digital form or cassette form or any other mediums. There are no evidence to prove that the sale of 100,000 unique albums, because you just get the information from the newspaper and not the reliable data. Besides that, I was not the party to the 1983 contract, so I'm not liable to pay you 20% royalty. I want to claim equitable remuneration for the publication of my song at iTunes. I can pay you the royalty from iTunes download, but just for 247.48 cents Ringgit Malaysia only.
So now we move to the decision of the courts and also reasons for such decisions have been made. So as per the court's decision, only 8% royalty will be paid for the plaintiff by Nawa Production according to the evidence. So why the courts made such decision was first, as per PW2 has given evidence that the plaintiff's royalties from the iTunes download only amounted to 247 ringgit 48 cents. Second, plaintiff's royalties is only based on the revenue received from the digital aspects of the albums, since the defendant did not reproduce the album in physical form. So the third one is No evidence from plaintiffs, as he claimed that he has huge fan base of more than 100,000 around the world. So, under the 2005 agreement, Nawa Production had given the rights to sell the album to Music Valley. So, the last point is the defendant has secured its interest over the album pursuant to the 2008 Innovation Agreement. So, now we can move to group members' comment section.
My name is Tan Jing Jing. My machine number is 202504. I will talk about the case of Sheikh Abdullah Amma vs Universal Music Sdn Bhd. I have realized that singers learn to know about each contract they do, such as recording contract or novation agreements. This is because they need to know their rights in the contract before something argues or problems with the contract papers. However, singers need to more consider and understanding during the signings of each contract they do. For example, who signs the contract need to clearly understanding how many percents or entities to get the royalty from each albums or songs. This can prevent the singer losing their rights and causing something unprecious. Another comment to the case is who signs the contract needs to collect the evidence on the terms of the contract. This is because the evidence in the contract is very important and it is to protect yourselves. For example, the apprentice can for 20% of the royalty from the sales of the albums or sales of the songs in the albums, but the apprentice has failed to provide any evidence on the terms of the 1983 contract with MRC. In this case, we can say the apprentice was lost a lot of money and his inheritance right because the apprentice cannot provide the evidence on the terms of the contract. In addition, the evidence also cannot be from the newspaper report, which is hearsay evidence. In this case, the apprentice has no documentary evidence to prove the sales of 100,000 units of the albums. Therefore, who does the contract need to collect the evidence that can prevent the terms of the contract being changed or can protect yourselves from any which occurs or legal problems. So, who do the contract need to learn how to protect themselves in every contract. Thank you.
My name is Ganzing. My metric number is 202511. According to us, between the Sheikh Abdullah Ammans and the Universal Music Sdn Bhd, we have learned that the copyright protections in Malaysia is governed by the Copyright Act 1987, which provide the comprehensive protections for the copyright tables work. It have protections given to the authors, copyright owners, and performers for their works and performance. Section 13 of the Copyright Act 1987 offers the protections to any work produced by an artist, including songs and music, by the providing exclusive right of the control against the reproductions, performance, distributions, and the commercial rentals to the public. As such, any reproductions of a song of music compositions will need to permissions from the copyright owners. Such is to avoid the issues of the plagiarism and the non-payments of the royalties to the artist. The above case demonstrate that the musicians and their works are protected by the copyright law in Malaysia. However, signings or recordings of the public use may have the certain important ramifications on their intellectual properties right, which the artist should be aware before the signings on the dotted line. There are 5 things every artist should consider before the signings their recordings contract. First, contracts are the means to the necessities. A contract is a partnership and it must be the mutually beneficent for everyone's involved for there to be the any chance of it leading to a long-lasting profitable relationship. Second, high legal concerns to avoid any conflicts of the interest make sure high honest autonomy not ones that has been the discomments by the labor. Third, audit the recordings labels through there is a lot of trust involved in a working relationship with the recordings labels cannot always be certain it have been the 100% transparent about sales rooms and the royalties payments. Fraud understand the rights. One of the biggest negative connotations come from the fact that the artists are often asked to give up some of their creative freedoms. Artists may be were the limit on the things like the videos productions and the directions, publishing, recordings budget, limits, song selections, star and the artworks associated with the albums and much. Lastly, anticipate terminations. Preparing for all of these scenarios will help avoid any unnecessary conflicts or the misunderstandings later on.
Hi, my name is Su Chai Song, my team number 202507. Now I will share about my comment about the case between the Dato Sheikh and the Universal Music. In my opinion, if Dato Sheikh really getting serious in claiming the 20% royalty, he need to claim the 20% royalty with the NRC, not the Universal Music. This is because the person who set the agreement of giving 20% royalty is with the NRC, not the Universal Music. And the Dato Sheikh need to bring this case to the court with the defendant is NRC, not the Universal Music. Besides that, I also think that the Dato Sheikh should get this case to the court since the earlier of NRC did not pay the royalty, because when he waiting for a long time to get back the 20% royalty, it made the case more difficult to find the evidence to prove that the agreement had agreed that NRC need to pay the Dato Sheikh for 20% royalty for the sale of album. Besides that, Dato Sheikh also claimed that there are already 100,000 albums being sold in market since the 1983, but there are no evidence to prove that there are really 100,000 albums being sold, because the Dato Sheikh just get the data from the newspaper, not the true evidence or the evidence being proved. Therefore, before that, I suggest that before Dato Sheikh want to get this case to the court, he need to be alert about the true data of the sale or album, not just get the data from the newspaper. As you can see, the evidence given by Dato Sheikh are not persuasive. Like, he said that there are around 100,000 albums being sold in market since 1983, and he had around 100,000 fans around the world. I think this is not persuasive and the proof evidence to give the Dato Sheikh to win this case. In the end, I also suggest that when we sign any contract with other people, we need to understand and know well all the agreement and the term being set in the contract, and who is the people involved in the contract, so that we will have knowledge about the contract term and agreement. Therefore, when we want to negotiate with other people, we will have knowledge about it. Not like the Dato Sheikh, he did not know about the 2005 agreement and the 2008 agreement. It made him in the difficult situation because he did not know the agreement about the contract, and this made the defendant more comparative advantage compared with the plaintiff. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hello and hi to Dr. Rosanna and my fellow friends. I am Yuki Surichandran. My metric number is 204085. So let me move straight to my views and points about this case. So first of all, my concerns and supports are fully to the defendant's team, and why I choose them as I support them is because as what I observed, the Nawa Production, Music Valley and the Nawa team along with the defendant already mentioned that they entered into a sale and purchase agreement, which was referred to the 2005 agreement, where this agreement states all the responsibilities by the defendant and also clearly explain that they follows the agreement well without any obligations. So as merging this, according to chapter 10, a contract sale is the transfer of ownership of the goods to the buyer for a money consideration. So Section 41 of the Sale of Goods Act 1957 defines a contract of sales of good as a contract whereby the seller transfer or agrees to transfer the property in goods to the buyers for a price. So contract of sales includes a sale and agreements to sell. So as the statement above, and these are merging and connected very well. So my second point is here, as we can see, there was no statutory breach of section 16A 1D with the section 36(1) of the CA 1987 by the defendant as alleged by the plaintiff. So since the plaintiff had failed to establish that he was entitled to 20% of royalties, then it was more probable that the royalty was only 8%. So this explanation could apply and clearly seen when Nawa Production already emailed the plaintiff directly with a well explanation, and the plaintiff was already saw and able to understand that as well. So my question has arisen here, like why the plaintiff made such fuss when the evidence are clearly on the defendant's team. So thus I understand that the plaintiff was actually not satisfied and not happy with the amount he received or paid by the defendant team. It's also connecting to the iTunes uploads, which I will explain in a while. So yes, as in this case for the iTunes uploads, defendant already provide the evidence where they paid ringgit Malaysia 247 and 0.48 cents, which is based on revenue generated received from digital aspects. So the plaintiff was not happy with the amount paid, so he wants more cash and makes such fusses as per my understandings. So also this statement actually reminds me on the goods sent on approval on sale or return taught by Dr. Rosanna in our class. So under section 24 of the Sale of Goods Act 1957, when goods are delivered to the buyer on approval or on sale or return or other terms, like when the buyer signifies his approval or acceptance for the seller or does any other act adopting the transaction. So as a conclusion, I able to see that the plaintiff never attached any evidence for his claims where he stated that he owns 20% royalties. But also besides, I'm still confused why the plaintiff was made and filed this case after 30 years since this incident happened. So it's not logic as per my understanding and in my views. If he really wants to get what he owns, he should make action. He should take immediate action on the spot, but he didn't make that. He was still able to think until 30 years and made such file, and still the case was not on his side. So hereby I clearly support the defendant teams whom they are able to clear their names, clear the obligations, clear the doubts, and provide a solid evidence for their case. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much for